4/12. Let me make myself a quick note here.
For December 14th.
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
You good? Okay. Okay, agenda item number 16, discussion and action on city manager. Okay, we do have two folks that are going to want to speak. I'm going to make this public. There was no interview that took place, okay? So you still have a right to, you have the ability to come up. Gary, no, Mr. Hay is actually before you. He signed up first. Mr. Hay, if you'll step up to the podium, if you will introduce yourself and
Good afternoon, council, mayor, citizens. My name's Hardy Hay, and I appreciate y'all giving me the time to come up here and talk. I'm not actually a citizen of the city of Weimar. I live just south of town a little bit, probably 15, 20 minutes, 2 miles down there. I wanted to, don't want me behind the podium probably. I'm used to standing in front of people and talking outside the podium. So
We can hear you.
the podium's outside my comfort zone. I'm sorry. I don't like to hide. I feel like I'm hiding from you. My wife and I have been here. We've been here in the Weimar area since about 2003, between Weimar and Houston and back and forth, and we made the official move probably 5 years ago or so. We left Houston like the senator was talking about when she was here, and it's all coming this way, and she's 100% right. We wanted something better for our life. We consider our Weimar the hub of our daily life and our weekly life. We come up here, we spend our money up here in Weimar. We buy gas at Love's or Diamond Shamrock. Don repairs our cars. My kids go to Weimar High School. We shop at Lowe's, and my wife and I both substitute at the high school when the need arises and they give us a call. We moved up here to get out of Houston because Houston, as you know, has got every problem in the world. It's got the crime, it's got gangbangers, wannabe gangbangers, drugs, prostitution. And like so many other people leaving Houston, we came here to get away from that. Well, what we learned real quick is you don't move out of Houston to get away from it because it's everywhere. It's here in Weimar also, and if you doubt me or you don't believe me, look at your kid's Instagram or ask the police chief right there. He can tell you, verify what I'm telling you. And so, having said that, we have an interest in what happens with the city manager position here. My wife and I talk about it. We talk about it with our neighbors. We have friends here in Weimar that talk about it. And I actually know Captain Jones over here. To me, he's Captain Jones. We're in the military together. He is a captain on a civil affairs team, and he asked me to come and talk to y'all, maybe to help explain to y'all, to try to understand what he does. Apparently, I think he's very well qualified for the position that he applied for, which is city manager. I don't know who else you have that has applied, but I can tell you what civil affairs does and how it qualifies him. We have a book, everything in the Army runs on FMs. It's our doctrine, right? If you look at FM 3-57 and it's open source information, you look it up on Google or wherever, it's the civil affairs doctrine. He is a civil affairs officer, and what he does as a civil affairs officer, or what we're trying to do right now, matter of fact, is we got people getting ready to deploy to Ukraine when that whole nut roll decides to end finally and go be rebuilt. That's what our teams will be doing. We've got teams right now in Central America. We've got teams on standby for the possible excitement in the Middle East. And civil affairs officers, they run a team of people to go rebuild infrastructure, go rebuild cities, go rebuild towns. And that takes a management or a manager to do that, and he is in that position right now in civil affairs. He is supposed, what a civil affairs officer does is he takes a combatant commander's vision for that town or for that city. And they go in there and he carries out that vision. He grabs that vision by the horns and takes it in the future and makes that commander's vision a reality. And I think that's what a city manager does also, right? He takes your vision as city council manager, y'all give him the guidance, and he takes it and runs with it and turns that guidance that you've given him into reality. Whether it's economic development, whether it's public health, public service, whatever. I've got a whole list of stuff on my notes that I could run off that, but we all know what we're talking about, right? Ambulance, libraries, public works. That's all the things that he does there. So, having said that, he's only one civil affairs officer out of, however many we've got in the military. What qualifies him? I've read all his evaluations. I've got access to every evaluation he's ever had in the military. I've got access to his personnel records. He's in my battalion. I'm the command sergeant major battalion. And I can tell you, everybody that's ever written anything about him has always been he is right now captain, and he's got 06s, which are full bird colonels, which are 3 grades above him, recommending him to be in a battalion command position, which is 2 grades above where he's working right now. The only thing that's keeping him from working in those higher levels is, you know, military, you have to have your time, certain time and grades, you have to meet those before you can move up, and he hasn't met those yet. But there is no doubt, I've seen him perform with his team, I've seen him in action during training exercises. There's not a doubt in my mind that he is well qualified, based on his training with the military, to do this job right here. He has access to resources that probably, I'm gonna guess, even if you got a city manager from LaGrange or Bastrop or wherever, he has access to people that those people won't have, just by virtue of the fact that on a daily basis, when he's downrange, he's dealing with ambassadors in countries, in different countries. In our unit alone, we have federal attorneys, we have federal judges, we have executives from Starbucks, we have executives from Amazon. I mean, we have resources that he can gather just by virtue of the fact of the position that he has. The local resources he can get because he knows everybody. He's from here. He's got skin in the game, just like I do with my family being here. He's from here. He's got skin in this game right here. He has a vision for the future of Weimar. And I would like to see Weimar become a little bit more than it is right now, because I think it has the potential to be more. I come from a small town in East Kentucky that is very similar to Weimar. It has about 2,300 people, just like your sign says outside of Weimar here. In about 10 or 15 years, whenever it was, Obama took the coal away from us. Our town went into poverty, it was already in poverty, right? It's Appalachia. But it went even more deeper into poverty. And we had a guy come in with a vision, one of the locals, came in with a vision, came to city council meeting just like I'm doing to you, I'm not as great a guy as he was. And he had described his vision, and they went with it. And so now our town of 2,300 people has a thriving theater that's right now doing Christmas plays. You know, it was a theater I used to go watch Batman movies in on Saturdays. They don't show movies anymore, but they have the Christmas theater now. They have guys or people from other communities come to our community in East Kentucky to watch plays. We have restaurants. If you want to take your wife out to eat here on a date, where you got to go? I mean, we don't have anything here. If you want to take your wife to go drink coffee, where are you going to go? There's nothing here. We go to Flatonia, you know, go to Darlin's, or you can go to Schobel's or Blake's, or you can go to Wine House or the Red Vault Door, whatever it's called, or the Rain. But, you know, I'm sure y'all's vision, your economic development vision is the same as mine. Let's bring something here. Besides that eyesore on the south side of I-10, that empty truck stop that's sitting there rotting while nothing happens with it. So basically my pitch for him is, hey, you know, here's somebody that's local that has skin in the game that is willing to do what your vision is directing him to do, and I think you should give him a shot, because if you hire somebody from out of town, he's going to be a suitcase, probably a suitcase city manager. And Keith, there's nothing against you, because what your job is black and white. I understand it. I've got a policing background also. I retired from the Houston Police Department, right? So what, you know, you get somebody in like that. Weimar is not somebody's final destination. I mean, a city manager's not going to come here and make this his final destination. He's going to come in here, he's going to get a couple good bullets on his resume, he's going to move on to the next shiny object, right? But he can't do that. He's got family here. He's got connections here, and I think somebody with connections, be it him or anybody else, will be a lot better fit for Weimar than bringing somebody in from out of town. And that's just based on my own experience and my, you know, what happened in my hometown and what I hope happens here in this city of Weimar. And that's all I've got. Unless you've got any questions for me, I can go deeper into that whole civil affairs thing. But if you want to, and you're ready to go to sleep, I can call you on the phone. We'll talk about it tonight and sleep like a baby. But I am up for it, and I'm open for questions if you've got any, anybody. Questions, complaints, concerns? If not, I'm done.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Hay.
you. Thank you,
Your
sir.
glasses are up there.
So, yeah, I only use them to read anyway.
Okay, Mr. Charnock, you have signed up to speak in the action and discussion of city manager. If you'll step forward again, please. Okay.
Do I have to reintroduce myself?
No, you're good.
Gary Charnock, okay. What I did prior to the executive session was something I really didn't like to do, and I just want to point out that I think that it just needed to be aired out, that everybody in the community was aware of the situation, and it's got more to do with following the rules and keeping our city council and our city as a whole out of any more problems that might arise from the nepotism issue. And all of this is just I'm not an attorney. That's what you have the city attorney for, to determine if this applies in this case, but everything I've read would indicate to me that the city cannot take any action on Roy's consideration, McCall's consideration as a city manager, as long as Councilman Ulrich is on the council. And
If I can just interrupt, because I'm the attorney and I've been
Yes.
advising them. I guess my first question is, when did you find out McCall was going to be interviewed today?
I found out, I requested information from Dolores about those candidates that had been interviewed and those that were to be interviewed, and his name was on the list.
Did you know he was going to be interviewed today?
I knew he was.
Who told you?
I think that's my personal business.
Actually, I'll tell you it's not, and I'll tell you why. Because that was part of the executive session. And so the city council here, part of one of the rules, you just said we're the rules
Yes,
city.
sir.
And I agree, we need to follow the rules. One of the rules is that city council members aren't supposed to share information in executive session. So I'll repeat my question so that these people can hear. Who told you McCall was going to be interviewed today?
The party that told me that McCall was going to be interviewed today was Councilman Kevin Yanichka. And I also
Did he
would
tell
like-
you he wasn't supposed to tell you that?
No.
Now, have you read chapter 573 that has to do with
No,
nepotism?
sir, I have not.
Okay. So I will tell you, I've read it. I've been practicing law about 32, almost 33 years. City council very specifically asked me about this. And as I told them, and I'm happy to tell you, I'm happy to tell all of these people, they can interview anyone, because as you know, interviewing somebody is not taking action. You agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Action would be when we come in here, like they did last week, we didn't know Stephen and Catfish were gonna put Reed up, but they did, they had that right to do. That was an action item. And so the law doesn't prevent city council from interviewing anyone. They could interview Stephen's dad, they could interview Catfish's
Yes, sir.
wife, they could
I'm
interview
aware-
them
I'm
for
aware
that,
of
and
that.
that's not a violation of anything.
And I did not state that. I actually read from the TML attorney's interpretation of the code that said they cannot vote or appoint. It didn't ever say anything about not considering it.
And that's
What
true.
I was,
But I'll cut you off.
may I finish?
Let me cut you off real quick, because I'll stop you. And I'm surprised Catfish didn't tell you, because this is public record. I sent everybody an email, and I said to them, you can't vote on, I told them, here it is, third degree of consanguinity, second degree of affinity. I defined for them what that was. And I said, if you're going to vote on someone, again, whether it's McCall, whether it's someone related to you, someone related to you, someone related to you, within those degrees, that vote can't take place as long as the person is on council. I said they would have to resign, a successor would be appointed. I walked them through the government code that said that. And so not only did council know, but nobody called me and said, we're not going to follow that. And I'm happy, Gary, for you to call me anytime when you have a concern.
Can I read
about
your
whether-
email?
Sure, absolutely.
I'm sorry I was not available for the special meeting. Had I known there would be a discussion and action item, or action on hiring Reed Jones, I would have sent this earlier.
Well, that's the wrong email, but I'm happy for you to read that
Well,
one.
it's concerning the appointment of it.
No, I'm talking about the email I sent yesterday.
Council is certainly free to hire whoever it wants as city manager. But if the city hires Reed Jones, I will need to resign as city attorney for several reasons. There'd be a conflict of interest as I am representing Trevor and Kia Meisenberg in a suit against Randall Jones for deflecting construction and,
Defective.
I'm sorry, thank you. It says you wrote it. Abandoning their house construction, and 2, still have a sour taste from the way Randall Jones treated the city, including writing himself a contract that paid him $50,000 when he quit. I'm sure none of these issues, the positive, but
Or
since,
is positive.
thank you. But this,
You're right, Councilman.
this, but since there seems to be a repeat unsuccessful attempt, I don't want to put that out there. In the event there's another special meeting I'm unavailable to attend where it comes up, as always, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, have a great weekend. To me, I read that as almost a threat that you're going to be manipulating a vote, sending us that you would quit us if we hire Reed Jones. Plus, we're not talking about Randall. This is Reed's deal, not Randall's. His name was not even spoken about in anything except your email. So put that on the record.
Okay, well, first, let's put on the record, that's not the email I'm talking about. I'm happy for you to read.
It has to do,
May I
Reed, does it
finish,
not?
Councilman? And I'll address that email in a minute. First, what I was talking to with Mr. Chernock was the email you received yesterday laying out the procedure and telling you and every other council member and Mayor Kohler what could and couldn't happen. I don't know why you chose not to read that one, Councilman Helmkamp. Maybe you'll read it. Secondly, as to my personal opinions about the Jones, I stand by that. You weren't here when we had to clean up all of the contract messes that Randall Jones left the city.
That is nothing.
Let me finish. You weren't here when we had to come in and stop Randall Jones from selling the transfer station out from under us, which he tried to do. And you weren't here when he left city council, said, I quit, and then went and got a lawyer who the next day said, by the way, where's Randall Jones's $50,000 for quitting? So you're right. Now, maybe the apple has fallen a long way from the tree, Councilman. Maybe it has. But then, maybe it hasn't. But more importantly, what you're missing. No, I haven't attacked your integrity. I have said, maybe you're going to be better than your dad. Maybe you're not.
We're not talking about his dad. We're talking about that individual.
That's
I think that's
absolutely
really below you and everybody else to
Okay,
bring
so
this.
I'm going to intervene
Excuse
here.
me.
Okay, we're going to get back to the items that are
May-
on the agenda here.
I,
Okay?
yeah, somewhere in this whole thing, I've been left out, so,
I was fixing to raise this, but,
Thank you.
and I don't want to go any further.
thank you,
Everyone, okay?
yes. If I can just make a
Yeah,
simple
You
simple
have the
comment.
floor.
Okay, thank you. My whole intention of bringing this up was not to say that this is what's happening. My intention was to bring it to light so that everybody, so that it was out there in the open and it was above board. The information that I read earlier was straight off TML documents. And again, it did not say anything about that council could not consider anyone. That was not in that information I read. It's just that they cannot take action either by voting or appointing somebody that is the first level of sanguinity.
Within the first three levels
Yes.
of consanguinity or within the first two levels of affinity.
Yeah. So, I just wanted that to be out there, and that it is a consideration, and more so for the sake of the council than anyone else. This is not, to me, this has got nothing to do with personalities. Who I might favor in this horse race is not the issue, and I have not said anything today about that. My whole thing is preserving the integrity of the city council. And perhaps I have obtained information that was not supposed to be given to me. Quite honestly, Kevin Yanechka gave me the name, but I already knew through the grapevine who was going to be interviewed today. So it's almost a moot point that he told me. It was more or less confirmation.
Well, am I correct, when we showed up at the last meeting, McCall's resume was sitting on our desk?
That's not procedure how it's been done, and it was railroaded in on us.
And then it was said that we would be interviewing him. So it wasn't an executive session brought up to me. It was an open meeting that we would interview him.
I think the bigger point, and
But no, I want to make that sure, because I don't want to be accused for leaking.
well,
Because I've been known to, a couple other citizens know more about executive sessions than I do.
I think that I agree with you. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the executive session that filters out on the Facebook and everywhere real quick, Catfish, and
So
I agree
I
with
wanna-
you. Now,
I'm covering myself.
I would like for you to confirm to Gary, because there seems to be a connection to you. Did I send everyone an email explaining to them exactly what the nepotism rules were?
You sent, I don't know if I have it. I don't have it with me. I don't know which, I'll be
But
honest with you.
generally, you agree. I sent
You said something, I'll be honest with you, I can't read that stuff on our texts that we get. It's in such fine print. I have a hard time bringing it up.
Well, I'll tell you, just then in the future, if you can't read my emails, call me, I'll print them out, and you can come get them, or call Dolores and she'll print them out and you can come get them. But I'm concerned because I'm here at a extremely discounted rate, Catfish, not because I have an agenda other than wanting city council to act transparently and to follow the law. And that's why I sent that email, and apparently, no one here, you didn't, call Gary and say, by the way, the city attorney sent us an email spelling out the nepotism law, and we're gonna follow it because Dawson isn't gonna let us. I'm not gonna sit here and let, whatever, if you wanted to try to hire your son, I would say no. If we wanted to try to hire McCall and Roy's on city council, I would say you can't do that. So it's disappointing to me that I go to the trouble to send this information out, and then you guys ask Gary to come here and complain about something that isn't gonna happen.
I wasn't, just for the record, nobody asked.
Yeah, we're
me to
throwing
come.
words.
Nobody
Well,
asked
okay,
me.
then I'll tell you what, if you have a concern about whether or not we're following the law, I'm on the internet. Call me up. You can call Dolores, she'll give you my contact information. That seems to me to be the way things used to be in this city. Instead of all this confrontation at City Hall, for the last 15 years, I've been city attorney, or 12 years, however long it was, everything was cooperative. Now it's all performative. It's confrontation. Did you make any effort to call anybody to find out before council meeting whether or not nepotism rules were going to be followed?
No, I didn't.
Can you do us the favor, rather than come up here and assume the worst, can you do us the favor of calling first and just asking?
Can I have a
Thank you.
say-so on something?
Sure.
If you knew all this, why didn't you tell Roy right off the bat where Dolores and they shut the meeting down? We're not going to take it as far as it went.
When I knew what?
That McCall was going to run, that he couldn't unless Roy resigned.
No, because he was just being interviewed. You guys could go back there and.
Well, y'all said that
interview
there was
him.
no interview that took place. Mayor
Right.
said that.
There
I
wasn't
did,
an
and no
interview.
interview
What I'm
took
saying
place.
is you
Correct.
could have, because I got here late. I'll tell you why, because my office isn't always good at calendaring. I thought the meeting was at 4. So I walked in, when they were in there in executive session, I said, what are y'all doing in there? And they said, this is what we're doing. We decided not gonna have an interview, and they said, you two guys had refused to go into executive session to interview, someone, which I don't know why I wasn't here, because I'm late. That's my fault for not being good at calendaring, but I want everyone to understand, this council's gonna follow the law, and for you to suggest they're not, or for anyone on council to suggest they're not, is disappointing to me, because I've known Weimer to always be a council that's cooperative. And Catfish, you've been on council a while. Tell me when it's been this confrontational. Roy, has it ever been this confrontational? And it ought not be, as
It's
you
a
said,
close-
there's only
close
23
tie with
people around here.
RC.
Everybody needs to get along. I mean, this is, if we want this, let's just go to Washington. Shit, Houston works better than this, I can tell you that.
Mr. Turnock, continue. Yeah, okay.
I don't know that I have anything further to add. My intention was not to, yes, I did not inquire, other than looking up the TML information. And my intention was not to point fingers at anyone. It was simply to be informative. I didn't care to come up here and do this. That's not something I'm comfortable doing. But I just felt it needed to be said out loud. And that is where I stand with it. I mean, I will admit I probably might have made a mistake here by not inquiring with the city attorney. But again, there was no intention of malice in what I was doing.
I don't describe it. You've done a lot of good work on planning and zoning, and I know you have the city's interest at heart.
That's what it, I mean, to me, it's been, I know city council has had a struggle with hiring a city manager. What Kevin Fishbeck said earlier, I fully agree with, as far as today is an extremely difficult climate to hire anybody for anything, and to try to hire somebody for a city manager position, with all the hoops you have to jump through for, the knowledge of government and the operations of all the entities that are involved with, that mesh with the city. It's a daunting task, and but the whole thing is, I am just doing it for the sake of the city, and maybe I went about it the wrong way, and if I did, then I'm sorry for that,
Gary,
but it doesn't mean I wouldn't do it again.
you don't have to speak to him. It's council that you're here.
Yes.
Okay.
So, there was no, like I said, there was no malice toward anybody, and it was just, at any rate,
Okay.
the subject was broached. It's out in the open. We know that you've informed city council of the nepotism rules, and that everything is squared away on that aspect. So, let's move
Anything,
on.
anything else?
That's all I've got.
Okay, I'm not cutting you off, but.
That's fine, that's fine. No, I don't really have anything to add.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, no one else has signed up to speak, but I'm sure opening it up to others that want to speak on agenda item number 16, which is discussion and action on city manager. Anyone else wish to also participate? Okay. So I'm going to read the the agenda item, discussion and action on city manager. Council have anything? I'm just looking for confirmation from everyone. Roy, you good? Kevin? We'll move to agenda item number 17, announcements. Dolores, back at you.
The only thing I have is Down Home Christmas tonight. Parade starts at 6 o'clock.
I'll also add, if
gonna
you
say.
haven't had an opportunity, if you'll go across the street, we do have the proclamation that the governor had provided. It is over there for your viewing. Would love for you to go. They have cake and punch. They do have T-shirts over there. I'm not gonna be a sales rep for them, but the museum has the design on a T-shirt, but they would love for you to come contribute and wear them proudly.
I'll make the motion, we adjourn.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn at 4:45.